Welcome to the RV Rental Secrets podcast. I'm your host, Stacy Maxson, and I'm thrilled to guide you through the journey of launching, growing, and managing a profitable RV rental business.
All right, so here we go. Hey, everybody, welcome to another episode of RV Rental Secrets podcast. I'm your co-host, Garr Russell, here with my partner, Stacy Make It Happen Maxson, and we're recording live tonight in our Fireside Chat. And just so y'all Fireside Chatters know, every week when we record our podcast, I think of a new nickname for Stacy. So that's a brand new one. You've never heard that before. Stacy, how's it going?
I'm excited to make it happen tonight.
Yeah. Stacy's down here in Florida with me. We're getting ready for our fireside retreat. We got like 26 or 27 franchises coming. We're gonna eat s'mores and hang outdoors and do all the fun things. So, Stacy, how's it going there? Getting everything all set up?
Good. We're already down in Margaritaville, and I've been busy planning everything, getting all the swag together. So I'm excited. It's going to be a lot of fun.
Yes, it sure is. Man, I am excited. I literally, yesterday, God woke me up at 4:14 a.m. and 4 hours later, I had 27 pages, my life story written down. That's going to be it's crazy. I'm still trying to sift through it. But I found the common thread, I found the common theme, and it's all fitting into our faith over fear theme for the retreat. And that kind of brings us to our topic today on the podcast is a couple different things: community, retreats, and pain. And Stacy, I got a really cool story to kick this off with. I got a message today from one of our franchisees who's coming to the retreat, and it's a husband-wife team. And the wife messaged me and said, "Hey, we're coming to the retreat, and we just had a bunch of bookings come in. And so my hubby is saying how he's going to have to leave for like 3 or 4. They're down here in Florida, near us. My hubby's going to have to leave and deliver some campers and come back and this and that, blah, blah, blah." And she's like, "I don't know, Gar, I'm not too happy about that. What's your thoughts?" And I said to her, "Ooh, it sounds like y'all are in a painful situation." And I love painful situations because painful situations, and Sam's shaking his head no, painful situations cause us to take action. And so now what has to happen is they need to get some drivers lined up. Pain is the ultimate motivator, Tony Robbins says. To avoid pain, we move to avoid pain, first of all, and then second of all, we move towards pleasure. So I was able to coach them through that and encourage them. Oh no, you guys are going to be at the retreat and you're going to have all your drivers and everything lined up. So, Stacy, any thoughts on that? You ever had any pain that pushed you towards your purpose?
Yeah, I actually think of an example from one of our other franchisees where he said he had an event scheduled, a lot of reservations, and then one of his consignment owners pulled out at the last minute. So he already had that reservation, everything else was booked, and he had that pain of having to fill that reservation, so he needed to find campers. So that caused him to take action of reaching out to a bunch of RV owners to try to get them to sign up for our RV rental management program. So I thought that was a good example.
Yes. See, pain is the ultimate motivator. Unfortunately, as humans, we have to wait until it's so painful to stay in the current situation that we move towards a little bit of pleasure. And that's how it works. And that kind of brings me to my next point about retreats, right? And it makes me think of even just the word retreat. When you think of the word retreat, you think of a battle, right? And you're retreating from your opposition, which in that sense, a retreat is really not a good thing. You're like, man, we're getting our tails whooped. We need to go this way to get a little bit of a break. But really, at a retreat, what happens in this sense, like a spiritual retreat, a business retreat, our retreat is really going to be both. Stacy and I made an agreement a little bit earlier. She's going to handle the natural. I'm going to take care of the spiritual. We're going to have a retreat. But really, why are we retreating? We're retreating so that we can we can spend some time together, so we can get built up, so that we can get encouraged, so that we can step out of the day to day and mastermind and hear what each other is doing in our businesses, so we can take that back to go back into battle. So that franchisee that I was telling you about, she's like, well, what do you think? Is it important that he's there? Or do you think that's okay? Am I wrong that I'm upset that he was going to leave to deliver campers? Do you think it's important that he's there? And I said, yeah, it's very important that he's there. I mean, that is exactly the place that he needs to be, which leads me to another one of my favorite quotes by one of my mentors, Myron Golden. Disruption always follows intention. So bring the spiritual into this natural now. It's no coincidence that they're getting ready to retreat here in a couple days and get built up to go back and build their business, that a bunch of rentals just came in and presented them with a big problem, that presented them with the opportunity to say, oh yeah, well, we should probably maybe not go to the retreat. We got to figure out all these rentals. No, that's not the right solution. Disruption always follows intention. So praise God, they were able to make the right choice and choose not to retreat from the retreat and stay working in the business. They were able to press into that pain, figure out the solution to their problem, which brings me to my other thought, Stacy, I messaged you on, is the power of community. Is they were able to work through that thought and through that pain in community. So there you go, y'all. Pain, retreats, communities, it's all there. Go ahead, Stacy. What's your thoughts on all that?
Yeah, well, I was wondering how you're going to tie it all together. So now I'm seeing the bigger picture here.
I
But
never know until it just happens.
yeah, it's funny when you said about the retreat being a battle that you're withdrawing from, because like that's not what comes to mind at all to me. And it's so funny how like we have the different personalities and think differently on that. So I was like, wait a second, why do I think something totally different? So I literally looked up the definition, and like what I think of a retreat is as a quiet or secluded place in which one can rest and relax. And that's like what I envision for our retreat. And it's funny too, because another definition is actually a period of seclusion for the purposes of prayer and meditation. So it's like, I feel like
Mm.
that's what the retreat is going to encompass, where, like you said, you have that community and the connection. And like last year when we did it, it just builds what I think someone says this, maybe Russell Brunson, or no, I think it's Napoleon Hill, where it's like you create a third mind. Do you remember that, Garr? I know you're good at quoting stuff like that.
Yeah, yeah. When you come together and you put your minds together in a mastermind, you're literally, it's like it creates a third mind. You tap into another realm. You literally are tapping into that power of creativity, the power of community, the power of just being together. So it is so powerful. And that's interesting that you got those definitions, huh? Because when I thought of retreat, like I love retreats, but as I was talking about it, I thought of like how an army retreats from another, because that does happen. So interesting. So yeah, very powerful. We should be going to retreats. We should be going to masterminds. I was telling this franchisee of ours earlier, I said, Stacy and I are going to a retreat in Vegas next month. Stacy and I and our spouses. I'm going to two retreats next month. I'm going to another one in Pennsylvania. In March, I'm going to a John Maxwell retreat in Orlando. Like retreats, masterminds. It's there's just it kind of makes me think actually right of church, to bring it to a spiritual sense. And Hebrews 10:25 tells us, do not forsake the gathering of ourselves together, as some have grown accustomed to, but it says, but actually do it even more so as we see the day approaching. So in a spiritual sense, it's like, hey, as believers, it's like we need to get together more and more and more and more in fellowship. And the same in business, as we grow deeper in business, as we grow in our entrepreneurship, we should be getting together more. So we do these, Thursday night chats, and we do the retreats and all these different things. So awesome. Stacy, any concluding thoughts on that?
It makes me think of when we went to a mastermind, it was a few weeks ago, I think, or maybe even last month, where just being there in the room, you get so many ideas. And I mean, we walked away with notes and pages of ideas that we wanted to implement. So that's what I'm really looking forward to. The retreat coming up this weekend is just everyone being in the room and feeling that, power of everyone together and everyone's ideas and excitement. So I'm really excited for it.
Yeah, I actually have on a post-it right here, Stacy. I wrote this down from that retreat that we went to, from that mastermind group. One of the biggest things that I walked away as we were all sitting there whiteboarding and brainstorming was we came up with this sentence: forward movement brings clarity, right? And so that's the statement in the natural sense. And then when I think about it, like in the spiritual, it's like faith is being certain of what we hope for and sure of what we do not see. So as we walk together forward in anticipation, just that movement in itself, it brings clarity as we take steps forward. And a lot of times, why do we not take steps forward? The whole theme of our retreat this year, it's faith over fear. We don't take steps forward because of the fear of the unknown, the fear of how it could end up, the fear of the outcome. But as we learn, forward movement brings clarity. So even if we make some forward movement and we didn't make the right move, well, we just gained some clarity on the move not to make next time. So clarity has been obtained by taking that forward movement. So we have to do that. So, all right, for everybody that's just clicking in to the Fireside Chat, Stacy and I were recording our live RV Rental Secrets podcast. So we're going to call that a wrap for the podcast. And now we're going to sign off and we're going to go back into our Fireside Chats where we're going to talk about these thoughts some more. And I'll be honest with you guys, I had a hidden agenda. The reason why we did this tonight, I'm like, Stacy, let's do this podcast like live, and then we'll say, hey, now we're going into our secret room where we're gonna mastermind with all of our franchisees. And then everybody listening to the podcast is gonna be like super jealous that you didn't get to come into this room with us and hear all the brilliance that's about to happen. And they're like, that's it. I need to know about the Fireside franchise. I'm signing up for the webinar. I gotta figure this out. So there it is, y'all. There's my hidden agenda why we did that. All right, y'all, be blessed, and we'll see you on the next episode of RV Rental Secrets Podcast.